Alright, it's Tuesday. Skipped Monday because I had some other things going on. But now it's Tuesday. I been out here for a little while, mowed the yard, weed-eated, done the household stuff. We still have the project that I started I need to finish, but I'm not going to do that tonight because I need to work on this stuff a little bit. We've got some interest in some parts off of the Dakota we just picked up, and then I haven't really gone through it, so we're going to go through it together and see what all kind of goodies and treasures it may be hiding. And then I got a little story on something we discovered on this truck, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So what I have an interest in already is the shifter boot, the shift knob, which amazingly enough, the shift knob looks very similar to Omni, Daytona, whatever. But anyways, the boot, the knob, and the sill plates. The sill plates down here. So I got to get all of that stuff off tonight so we can work on getting it sold. And then I also have a local party. Actually, the guy we got the black convertible from, he wants this console. I don't have use for the console because the black truck's a bench seat, which is going to stay the way it is. What all came in the truck? So here's the door trim piece for the driver's door. That's the one that was missing in the other video. And then we have the two fog light covers. From what I know, these are kind of hard to come by, but this one unfortunately has, I don't know if it's gotten melted or what, but if a person has a Dakota and they want a set of these, this is better than nothing, I think. So we're going to put those off to the side and they'll get sold. The black Dakota is missing them, but we're not going to worry about it. So to me, it's not that major of a deal. It's never going to be a show truck, so it's going to be a truck that we're just going to enjoy and drive and like. A new door bushing. There was two. This package is empty, so I don't know if maybe they changed it already. But my buddy said, well, I just did a whole little video clip of talking about what all's in this truck. Realized it was upside down. I wasn't going to try to go through that mess again, so we'll start over. So unfortunately, I've already seen what all's in this truck, and there really isn't a lot worthy of talking about, but we're going to talk about it anyways. So let me get the seat. Alright, so what all we got? So I already looked, and like I said, I already know what all's here. So that foam mouse nest was full of creepy crawlies. I assume ants. Could be wrong. I don't know. They're no longer with us. It's amazing what a little bit of starting fluid will do. Behind the pocket of the passenger seat, we did find a 50 States Quarters books. I remember when these first came out, they were all the rage. And it does have some quarters. There's 7. So we'll keep those. We have a spare waterlogged taillight. We'll keep that. We may have to figure out how to get the water out, but hopefully maybe it'll evaporate with time. I don't believe we need it currently. We don't need it today, I know that. So anyways, there are 3, there may be, make that 4 original center caps. So those will be listed for sale. This is a silver faced instead of the black or wood grain. So hopefully maybe somebody will need this piece. Of course, we got the heater controls. Those seem to sell. And then the silver face around all of this. And then the factory radio. So I've been working on some stuff around the house tonight, trying to get things done. But I have a person that needs this shifter. I don't know if I talked about this in the first part of the video. If I did, then I guess you're going to hear it again. They need the shifter boot and the shifter knob, and the knob looks very similar to a Daytona LeBaron. So anyways, what else did we find in the truck? There's a spare aftermarket key. We got the fuel filter and the bracket. This is the spare door trim for the driver's door that is currently off, so it's right here. That'll be a nice piece. We can sell that. The original mirror. This looks like a LeBaron mirror to me. with the on-off switch for the map lights. Unfortunately, it seems, I guess it's stuck, but it's hanging on for dear life. So we'll see if it works and whatnot once we get a battery put in this thing. The original sun visors, my assumption is going to be that these are just base Dakota sun visors. They're nothing special to a convertible, because what they've done was they just cut the roof here and put this piece of plastic over that. So my assumption is, because this one here is flippy floppy, no good. Passenger side is good, but I don't know if there's a demand for those. We have an engine computer. Unknown at this time what this fits. My guess is going to be it fits this truck. Its condition obviously is unknown because it's not been plugged in. We'll worry about that at a later date. Once we get working on this some more, we got a door seal of some kind. I'll have to figure out where it belongs. And then, here. So during your travels, we don't get lost. We have a Carlton exclusive Rand McNally Road Atlas. See if I can find a date on this. Looks like 1992. So this truck would have been 2 years old. I wonder what all kinds of sights it has seen. It does show 174,000 miles, so it did get some use. It did get traveled. Another cool part we found were the Dakota fog light covers. These go on the factory fog lights. They're not the greatest of shape, but from what I'm seeing, these are hard to come by. And this one obviously has been hot at some point in time or had something hot laid on it. But this is better than this. Nothing. So we'll see if we can find a buyer for those. And then in the console that we may have sold, there is nothing but junk. An elbow for a PCV pipe or CPVC, whatever it is. Some bits of pieces, some junk zip ties, whatever this thing was, some kind of a pen or something. And then there are some drill bit drivers, but we're not worried about those. And some old zip ties on the floor. Remember, I'd already gone through this. So we did find some dog toys. If you got a dog that's into those, we do not. Ours does not like them. We got the spare, or the driver's side, door handle, door lock, switch bezel. We got a new door lock, or a door hinge pin. We got a starter that is unknown. We believe it's GM. I don't know, whatever. Scrap dial by it. And then we got a standard and metric adjustable wrench. It's froze. It is a Craftsman, so I might try to salvage it. I might soak it in some oil and see if it comes around. But I don't use these anyways. I actually don't even own any, so it might just become weight. We have a Craftsman nut driver with a 7mm 1/4" drive socket. We have the clamps for the hard cover. We got a pair of very rusty, very not worth much wire cutters. And another one. Side cuts, whatever you want to call them. I think this is the gas tank. It might be exhaust. I don't know. Bracket. Whatever it weighs is what it's worth. We got a rusty but trusty, I'm sure, 1/2" 6-point impact socket. Unknown what size because I can't read that. And then we also got some quick dried nail polish in case you're in the mood. I'm not in the mood. Oh, I got a guy that might actually need this piece. We're going to compare. Just found that. I didn't see it earlier. Other than that, that is it. That is on the floor. So we did get the extra top frame. See if I can squeeze in here and move this out of the way. We're still unsure if this cover fits this truck. I think it does, but oh boy. Well, apparently you just watched me do all of that. So, it is what it is. So is it ever a good thing when you buy a junk car and there's a black trash bag in it? Could be treasure or trash or jail time. Let's hope for the first one and not the latter two. We got some trim rings. That's what everybody always wanted, was some trim rings. No idea what these fit. Maybe we can find out later. For now, it's not a concern. But I see something cool in here. Not this. This is probably the original air hose, air intake hose for this. Another trim ring. Now look at this. Let's dig this out. Hopefully nothing bites me while I'm sticking my hand in there. Parking brake, cable, brackets, battery hold down, air cleaner lid for a Dodge Magnum engine. This shouldn't be a Magnum engine. I don't think. My buddy would know more than that, but I don't think so. A very cut up wiring harness or something. This is what I thought was neat. Some ET, not extraterrestrial, don't think of the movie. The wheel brand spinner cap. So far, just one. But we're going to get to these here in a hot second, because these might be something of value. I'll show you once we get done. Pie pan, air cleaner assembly, and that looks like that is it. And then we have a usable trash bag, empty brake fluid can. But these are brand new weld wheels center caps. Brand new meaning they're still in the plastic, but they're not brand new because they're been sitting in this truck for who knows how long. But we only have 3, and then the one ET spinner. But that's still cool, something we can sell. We got brake shoes. I don't know what else. Some more junk. Appears to be a fairly new muffler. Actually, it looks brand new. So that might be able to utilize on something. But these fuel lines are in the way. Just what a guy always needs is more buckets and bolts. We have a fender tag off of some kind of car. No idea what. I'll try to look that up, see if I can figure it out. Looks like it might be another fog light switch for one of these. And the spare tire. Oh, there goes the bucket of bolts. And the center cap just fell. And nothing else under there. Another jack. Some engine oil. Another empty plastic cat litter container. And that looks like it's it. So, let's pick up this center cap so it don't get broke. Let's check this out. I think it fits this truck, which will be cool because it'll be another one. It looks the same. My assumption is it's the same. So not really a whole else lot, but somebody apparently did shop at the other store that gives you magnets. At least that's a cool car, 68 Roadrunner. Yeah, who cares? Sorry, Jason, but your car is freaking ugly and horrible. I know you probably like it, but you're probably one of 3 that does. No idea what that means. Rolls Royce 230 impact tool. I don't know. We'll see if we can figure it out. And then there's nothing else behind the seat. Overall, there's some decent pieces and parts in here. I'm gonna have you moving everywhere, moving and grooving, trying to get this put back in the truck because that door does not shut. Where the damn. We had a heck of a time getting it shut when we picked the truck up. Let's look under the hood. Oh, how I've missed this car. Missed this car so much. Problem is shifting one-handed. Again, try and drive one-handed. So it's Thursday. Didn't do much last night. Worked on the backyard some more. So got a phone call from my sister-in-law that they wanted, she at least, we got to get to that point, this gone. So I just took off and ran over and grabbed it. This is one that's not going to be here long. This thing will be here less than, if all goes well, it'll be gone Friday. Well, today's Thursday, so probably Tuesday at the latest, because I don't want it sitting here. I've got enough stuff now, and this just adds to it. I don't even know what year this thing is. Like I said, I was just asked to come and get it, but it's a GMC Sonoma, and the Ohio winters have been rough on this old girl. It is a 4-cylinder, surprisingly, and an automatic. I bet this thing was slow as molasses when it was new. The inside's not terrible. It's dirty, but it's not all tore up. So it does. So anyway, yeah, this thing is pretty much ready for the scale. It's got some junk metal in the back, nothing major. Not something I would have normally went and got, but like I said, it's for my brother-in-law and sister-in-law. So we'll figure out what they're going to do with it, what we're going to do with it, and hoping by next Tuesday it'll be over the scale or gone, one of the two. So right now I'm going to go in the garage. I'm going to work on trying to get, like I said earlier, one of these cars done and gone, and I don't know which one to do. I'm thinking the Daytona would probably be the most logical to get it done and gone, but it's still quite a ways away from being done, and so is the Shelby Charger, because I want to try to get both engines. The Shelby Charger, I don't know if it runs. Hell, I don't even know if it's froze up. The engine might be froze up. So maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll toss a battery in it and see if it even cranks. Kind of maybe go from there. But let's. I know it doesn't have. Well, all the plug wires are here. All the plugs are in it, and the plug wires are all here. The fan's just laying here. We can get it out of the way for right now. The Hall effect's hooked up. The alternator's missing. The fan plug wires are missing. Fan wires missing. Not a big deal. Let's see if it's got any oil in it. Yeah, it's full of oil. The dipstick tube is kind of janky. I don't know what they did there. So I miss. Let's see if we can toss a battery in this thing and see if we can get it to at least crank. I've noticed the ends, the battery terminals. They got some high dollar terminal ends. That's the positive side, and all the wires down here have been spliced, and who knows, this thing probably won't even crank. Here's the ground, I think. Like they almost converted it to a side post at one time, maybe. Yeah, well anyways, I'm going to mess with this for a little bit. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this. This wiring obviously is a complete disaster. So it probably won't do anything, but we're going to try. We're going to see what we can do. Well, it's Saturday morning. I had planned on doing some stuff with the wife today. She wanted to go do some things. But unfortunately, she got up this morning and she doesn't feel very well. She has a bad back. She's got some issues. And so anyways, I cleaned up, come out, and I'm going to work in the garage. I told her, if she gets feeling better and she wants to go do something, then let me know. I'll stop what I'm doing. And we'll go do whatever. So, meanwhile, yesterday, Friday, I worked on the Shelby Daytona, the 91. And the engine, it's hard to see. The light coming through the door makes it look darker than it actually is. Got the engine harness completely out. It's laid over here in the tote, ready to go inside to be listed. I'm fighting the battery tray. I got 2 of the bolts that are giving me issues. They're just wanting to spin. So we got the sway bar off. These are all the sway bar brackets, and then the clutch pedal or clutch cable bracket, the part that goes through the strut tower, it's off. The shifter cables are unhooked and disconnected from the transmission. The transmission mount on this end is out. So basically what I'm getting at is this engine is ready to come out. So I worked on that for a while last night. Then my buddy came by and he was here for a while. And then I had a buddy call me and we talked on the phone for a while. So it kind of got paused, but that's fine. Because I have to, never mind this disaster of an area, I have to get rid of all of this pile of junk. And to get to the engine pulley, which is over here, buried behind this stuff. So this is going, my goal is to haul this car in over the scale next week. Like I've said before, my truck goes in a week from tomorrow, so a week from Sunday, to be fixed from the accident at Carlisle, on the way to Carlisle. So I'm going to be without a truck for who knows how long. So ideally my goal, what I'm trying to get to is this car done, gone, out of here. Ideally, I would love to get this car done, gone, and out of here. And then get the Dakota convertible in over here. And maybe the Volkswagen. I don't know. But anyway, get a couple of vehicles in the garage so that I have stuff to work on while my truck is gone. But this one here, the interior is pretty much done. Probably easier to go to the passenger side. I still got the steering column to pull. If I don't trip over all this junk laying around. Still got the steering column to pull. And of course clean out, the instrument cluster bezel and some other little miscellaneous pieces. But get the cables out the rest of the way. So the steering column and the cables have to come out. The pedal assembly is already pulled. I'm not keeping the seats. I don't need more seats. So obviously this is a big brake car. It still has, the pumpers on it. We got 2 of the front ones off. Once it's on the trailer, the rest of that'll be finished up. And then I'll go ahead and take, everything for the big brake setup. One thing I did discover last night was this axle nut fought me. I finally beat it, but this hub bearing is shot. So we have to figure out a way to get where this doesn't want to come off as we're trying to load it on the trailer. Obviously it's a low speed, but I don't want to have to deal with it getting halfway on the trailer and this thing fall out. So I think the game plan is to dig through these pile of axles that I've got laying around, find just the outer part, if I've got just the outer part, just a section of it, and bolt it back into that hub, and that should hold it together long enough to get it on the trailer. Once it's on the trailer, then I'll take it back apart. And there's Mama Cat making her presence. Did get this thing running. It actually runs really well. It's a shame that it's as rusty as it is. I don't know what to do with it. I don't want it. I hate junking a running, moving I don't know if it drives. I think it does. But I hate junking something that runs and moves, but at the same time, you know, who's going to want this thing and what are you going to do with it? So anyways, plan today. So ideally, like I've said just a minute ago, I would love to get this car done and gone next week as well. So if I get the seats out and the instrument cluster out and the steering column ready to pull, and if I can get the pedal assembly out, basically get the interior done, then all of this pile of junk can go inside this. That'll clear up this space so that I can pull the engine out of the Shelby Daytona and set it over here for now. So I might do that. This might be my goal today, to get the interior done. Getting this thing running, like I showed you earlier in the week, is going to be probably a logistical nightmare because of the way the wiring harness is completely chewed and cut up. So I haven't determined what I'm going to do there. I will be pulling the front clip. I'm going to check the fenders closer to make sure they're not rotted. I don't think they are. So we're going to pull the front clip off of this car. Probably the doors, if they're not rusty. I did have somebody ask me about the hatch. Let's see. Yeah, the hatch is actually really nice. Got a little bit of scaling under here. Nothing that can't be redone. So maybe we can get the hatch sold. That would be awesome. You know, save another part. So they had asked about these covers. So I need to get this cover off, those covers off, maybe the sail panels and the tail lights, and then the seats. This is all stuff from the 85 that I still need to get out of the way. So yeah, today's gonna be busy. I'm not gonna be in no rush. We're gonna, take my time. Like I said, I'm working on the interior first, and so I can get this junk out of the way, and then kind of go from there. So let's get. We're gonna turn on some music. They got a new channel on Sirius, the Mega, I don't know what it's called, something Metallica. I'm going to turn that up and just rock this out. So let's get it done. All right, so if you've never removed the front clip on a Shelby Charger, be ready if you're about to or you need to, because they are a pain. So I've talked about these before, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about, these speed. That would be this. So this is a metal clip, okay, that slides over the inner structure on this little tab. And then they decided to run, now this one's broke. There should be another part to this that has a nut looking part. Let's see if I can get one off of here real quick. So this is right up. Of course, it fell down, but I think I can get to it. It might have broke too. Well, anyways, it's down here. Of course, it's wedged itself down in. Wouldn't be right if it didn't. So let's go to the other side, because I think that the other side, believe it or not, the driver's side of this car, everything actually came apart fairly simply. But we're going to see if we can get you, I can show you what I'm talking about. If you're a body person or messed with these cars a lot, you already know what I'm talking about, and they are up there. So you can see, okay, this slides over, and then that would normally be flat. It bent a little bit, but it would be flat, and the bolt goes through that. So what happens is, the exposed, trying to focus this, the exposed section of the bolt gets rusty. And then when it tries to come through the nut section of this clip, it breaks right here. And what happens when that does is this part just spins and spins and spins. I've been fortunate that you can take a pry tool, screwdriver, whatever you have, and if you can get it up underneath there and give it some pry, most of the times it comes apart. Sometimes it does not. We had one, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. that bolt right there would not come apart. And that's why we had to get the cutting wheel out, and cut that. It's a bear. So you have all the 10 millimeters here. You've got 10 millimeters here. That goes on the inside of this fiberglass piece. And they come out. You don't have to remove them fully because these are notched. I always just remove them because if I'm going that far, I might as well remove it. You got to remove the bracket where the hood latch is at. And then, of course, you got these on the other side. Then you've also got one on each side, driver passenger side, that goes here. This one's on behind the computer. And this one sits back here kind of in the way of where the charcoal canister sits. Some of those are a little tough to get to. There's more to this than this, but those are the basics. And then up inside the fender well here on each side, this was a 13 millimeter. I thought they were always 10, but these were 13. And then you also have these two little, well, there's one, sorry, a little 8 millimeter that holds right into here. And the 13 millimeter goes through this hole. And then, of course, you got the two 10 millimeters on the very bottom. Those are also known to break off, but we got lucky. This clip is about to come apart. As you can see, it's already partially off. The problem you run into now is I didn't design these cars. So the fender, the inner side of the fender wants to catch the angled part of the bumper, because the bumper, instead of just dropping here, it goes out and it comes at an angle back inside of you. You can't see it. So you can kind of flex these out to get them to clear, or you can walk it off if you can get it out of there, or if you're really feeling energetic, you can get right up. Let's see if I can get you this shot of this. Right up inside of here. Grab my light. Try to help you. And you can see all them bolts. I don't know how many there is. 6 or 8. 4 or 5, I mean, sorry. And you can remove those bolts. And those are what attaches the fender to the front header. The front nose. Those have to come off anyways. But a lot of times what I have found is the other side of that is a plastic or a metal clip that's kind of embedded in the rubber part of the nose, the lower section, like from the silver line down to the air dam. And those break, or they have a tendency to just spin. So what I have done in the past, and what I'll probably end up doing here, is you take the ones on the upper that thread into the fiberglass section, get them out, and then I can come in here, create some separation here. Of course, you got to get this off, and that's a whole nother nightmare. Create separation here and take a Sawzall blade and go right down and cut those bolts. These are overbuilt for being a cheap car. The Daytonas, LeBaron Shadows are a whole lot simpler. I don't know if it's because they were just trying to throw them together. If they thought they had too many little pieces, because you got the lower fender extension, which is this piece here, okay, and then that attaches to the nose. So I don't know what the reasoning behind all that was. This is a whole nother animal. So you've got a screw here and a screw here, but then on the back side, and you can't really see it, you've got a two big nuts, and they go into the back side of this. The problem you run into is they want to snap off and twist off and break. That's why sometimes you'll see these Shelby Chargers where they've ran a bolt through here, and you might see the bolt head exposed. Or if you're looking on our eBay store, a few of these have got holes right here where they've broke when they were removed. The other issue you have is you have one of them bolts is right about here, but one of the bolts that connects this, the fender, to this part is also right here, so they kind of collide. So you almost have to get one off first. It's just, they're a pain in the butt. I would not, personally, I would not want to change just a fender on one of these cars because that is quite the affair. I don't mind taking them apart, but, you know, because I can take my time and do that. But to replace just a fender, boy, that's a task on one of these. On, like I said, on a Daytona, LeBaron, Shadow, you know, even an Omni, it's not that bad. It's only the Shelby Chargers is the issue. So you can see we got the interior done. I did remove these side panels. They're a little beat up, but they're not horrible. I had an issue with the wheel well panel on the driver's side. So there's a, right about here and then right about here, there's screws that attach the lower wheel well panel to the upper panel. These were carpeted wheel well panels, and through time, the carpet has a tendency to go around the screw, and it just creates a whole nother nightmare. But I ended up having to pop one off. I think it's going to be okay. But, you know, who knows. We did get the headliner out. It is sold. It's actually in pretty decent shape as far as the board goes. The headliner itself is trashed, but the gentleman needs just the board. Let me walk out here. I already filled up some of that plastic tote that's been laying here forever, full of junk parts. It's already in the Shelby Charger, so it's leaving when that car goes. But walk out here and show you the headliner board. I was pretty amazed that it was in as good of shape as it is. I also learned something today on these. So this is a sunroof car, so the headliner board is here, but I noticed it's notched. And that's not a break because it's a notch on both sides. And what I think they did was they notched this so that you can get it around the seat belt. I ended up taking the seat belt off and used it that way, but I think that's what this is for, what this notch is for. So I've got to take pictures of this and send it to the gentleman so he knows what he's getting. He's got family that lives local to us, like literally right outside of town. So they're going to come pick this up sometime and then take it to them. They live in Maryland. So this part's going to make quite a road trip. So let me show you the other side. Sunday morning. We're going to work some more. I need to get the clippers out. So anyways, wife still isn't feeling good, unfortunately. So we're not going to plan on, as of right now, going anywhere again today. So yesterday you saw that I worked on the Shelby Charger. Got a lot of it done. Like way more than I was expecting. This car's further along now than I was expecting for it to be at this point in time. So I have a goal. My goal today is to get the engine out of the 91 Daytona. And then we need to remove the front bumper and brackets. And then we're going to come right about here-ish, cut, and then do the same on the other side because we have somebody come in next weekend for this radiator support. So I can do this one of two ways. I can either go ahead and pull the bumper off, brackets off now, and then I'm trying to talk and think here at the same time. I'm not very good at that. Put a jack underneath the transmission because the transmission's already dropped, so I can remove this mount so the engine doesn't come completely down. Go ahead and remove this, and then I don't have to lift the engine as far. Or I can go ahead and pull the engine now, set it out of the way, and then cut this. I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet, so I'm going to think about that, figure that part out. But also, there's a good chance. Still got to step over a bunch of stuff, but we're making progress. As you can see, the back of the Shelby Charger is full. Yes, we do not keep the door glass. It's unfortunate that we have to. Space is an issue, and we've already got like 2 or 3 sets. And they haven't sold. You can see I got the fender extensions off. The nose is off. Obviously the doors, fenders, hood, all that's off. My goal today could potentially be that we open this garage door, shove this car back or pull it back, whatever. I don't know how I'll do it yet. And get this engine and transmission out as well. If I'm capable of doing that today, that means that on Tuesday, when I get home from work, this little GMC can go. I can get back Tuesday from that, load one of these two onto the trailer, finish it Tuesday night, haul it Wednesday, get back Wednesday. Now this is all a big dream, big, what if. Come back Wednesday, load the other one of these 2 cars onto the trailer and get it out of here, finish it Wednesday night and haul it Thursday. I could potentially get rid of both of these cars this week coming. Now tomorrow is Labor Day, so I have a whole nother day to work. The problem I have is that at Sonoma is on the trailer, and I can't put one of these 2 on the trailer until it's off. Now, I could also unload the Sonoma, load one of these 2 up tomorrow, and finish it, but either or, it doesn't make a difference. I've still got to, load things and finish things. So it's going to play that by ear. The weather's supposed to be decent next week. I think they're calling for rain maybe Thursday. So I don't know for sure. I really don't pay much attention, but I thought that's what I saw yesterday afternoon. It would be so awesome to get rid of both of these cars this week. They could both go away. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see how that goes. So for now, today, I'm going to hold off working on the Shelby Charger because it's as far as I can go. Next step is pulling the engine. But I'm going to go back onto the Daytona, work on getting that front clip cut because that's going to take a while. And probably lots of Sawzall blades. But we will succeed. Get that done. Get that pile ready to go. So let's get... they also want the muffler, but I don't think it's even there. They're also interested in the muffler on that car, if it's still there. I'm not sure it is. We'll find that out as we go along. So I've got a lot of miscellaneous pieces and parts that I've removed from these cars. There's some there, and there's some up on top of the Daytona. I've got one tote here, one tote here. I can utilize this tote. These parts are this console is out of the Dakota convertible. It can leave, or it's getting picked up, and then the shift boot and something else is in here that's getting shipped. But I got to pull off a few more parts off the Dakota before we ship this stuff. So we'll get more into that when the time comes. So for now, get busy, get something done, turn on some tunes. Let's knock this out. Alright, so I have another issue in the battery tray. I'm trying to get the battery tray out, or I was the other day, and there's a bolt here, and there's another one down here, and if you look back earlier in this video, I explained to you about these speed clips that Chrysler like to use. Well, these aren't speed clips, but they're just nuts that have rusted away. So what I got to do is go in here and cut them with the old cutter. Let's see what we can do. I got into something. Let's see if we can knock that out. Trying to do more parts of these videos to where I can show you what we're doing instead of just me rambling on and on and on. starting to kick over on me. We got it. Let's see if this is loose now. There we go. We got a battery tray. So, another little item. We'll clean it up and get it listed. But that gets us a little bit closer. So, and yes, I did have goggles on. I'm not, that's not the thing I normally use. So, go ahead and haters say something. Anyway, I got the transmission in, jack back up. I think I'm going to go ahead and remove this front motor mount and cut this nose off. Voila. Just like that. Front nose is off. So, next step. Get that out of the way. Get the engine puller in here. Pluck that engine transmission out. And this car's ready to put on the trailer. So, yeah, that wasn't as bad as I expected. I got to cut the hood cable yet. I'll just use the side cuts and cut that. And then that's ready to go. Well, if I look tired, there's a reason. So, let's go to the other side of the garage. It's definitely a trip hazard in here currently, and you'll see why here in a hot second. So, what all got accomplished today? So, this all took place today. I've been out here most of the day. I went in a little bit ago and a couple hours ago and got something to eat. And then actually had a customer come and buy some parts. And he was here for a little while, so keep in mind on all of that. And I'm not out here trying to kill myself, but I just want to get things done. Winter's coming, and I need this stuff done and try to get this place cleaned up some. I've got still got a big mess, but we're closer. So, this is the 91 Daytona. You watched me cut this off. Done. I got to cut the proportioning valve out. That'll take about a couple of minutes. I'm going to save the rack and pinion and the control or the K-member. Of course, the big brake parts and the rear hubs and spindles and whatnot. But all of that, minus the proportioning valve, All of that comes off once it's on the trailer. Here's the nose, already been paid for. He's coming down in a week or two to pick that up. This is going to go to save another 91 Shelby Daytona. I believe I think it wrecked, hit a deer or something. I don't remember exactly, but that's going to go to a good home. Here's the engine out of the 91. It's already on Marketplace for sale. We did know it ran, but it had the engine noise. We're unsure if it's a rod or the balance shaft chain making noise. Could be either or. There's the transmission. That one there is on hold as of right now. But, whoa, what's this engine? This is the 85 Shelby Charger engine. So I pulled 2 engine and transmissions today. And let's just say I'm very tired. So this is why it's a trip hazard in here currently, because I literally just finished up and grabbed the camera. Mama Cat's out here checking things out, making sure I did good enough work. Is it everything okay, Mama Cat? You know, I guess the jury's still out on that. So anyways, the 85 2.2 turbo, unknown condition. It did roll over by hand, and it rolled over fairly easily. So this would be a good engine to put on a stand and go through it, clean it up, and I'm sure it'll probably run if a guy cleans it up and rebuilds the gaskets and head gaskets and stuff. But that's a good starting point for somebody needing an engine. This is the 525 out of it. It's probably going to end up inside the Shelby Charger, just as is that one. Real quick, check out this cool ass poster we found. I've had that for over a year. I framed it. I need to hang it up. But it's got the Shadow ES, Shelby Daytona, the LeBaron, and the CSX Shadow, along with all the other makes and models of cars. It's a Goodyear poster. It's cool as hell. Anyways, back to what we're talking about. So this car here is ready to go almost as well. I still have to get the shift rod that goes back to the shifter. That's got to come out. The shifter's got to come out. I'll probably go ahead and keep the rack and pinion. Again, that's got to come off once it's on the trailer, because I have to be able to steer it somewhat. Obviously, it's not going to go down the road, but I still need to steer it somewhat. Still got some miscellaneous parts on this car I got to pull. Had somebody inquire about the hatch. Hope they hurry, because if I don't hear from them, I'm not keeping the hatch. It is a non-third brake light hatch spoiler. I don't know. I might keep it. I've already got a couple of them, but again, back to the whole, they're not making them anymore. And if somebody's got an 86 or 7 and they're wanting to get rid of the third brake light, because to me they look hideous, and I think that's what the general consensus is, so they can use this spoiler and not have to worry about filling in any holes. Either or, we'll see. We'll keep the front steering knuckles and, of course, the rear hubs and spindles. We keep all the spindles that we pull in these cars because, believe it or not, that's probably our top selling item. We sell between spindles and Daytona wiper arms. I don't know what it is about Daytona wiper arms. We can't keep spindles. Well, we keep spindles in stock because we get enough parts cars. But we sell a bunch of spindles and we sell a bunch of Daytona wiper arms. So, I don't know. Debating on the booster. It's a non-rebuildable, and with this car sitting for so long, I'd hate to say it's good because obviously it's unknown. I'll probably keep the proportioning valve. I believe you can rebuild those. That's going to be for the Shelby Charger, GLH Omni, and I think the S cars they all have the same proportioning valve. Windshield's broke. I believe this harness was in this car. I believe that harness was the one to replace this mangled up mess. Right now it looks like a huge mess of spaghetti, and so it's up in the air on what I'm going to do with that. And real quick before we close this out, because I am wore out, it's time to clean up a little bit so I can get the garage door closed and go in and clean up myself and call it a night. I have this conglomeration of wiring. I know, I'll be honest, I don't even know where it come from. I think it was in this 91 Daytona or the 84 Daytona. If you've watched my videos and you've seen this wiring harness, this bundle of wire, let me know. I don't know what to do with it. It's a hot mess. There's probably 2 or 3 harnesses all intertwined and mixed in and everything else. I don't know. I'll figure that out later. Meanwhile, it's going to stay here for now. But plan is to, like I've said before, zoom this thing out or try to. Like I said before, to get rid of this GMC that's on the trailer first of the week, and then the Daytona and the Shelby Charger all in the next couple 3 days will be gone. And then we can start on another project. My hope is to get our Dakota convertible in here on this side where the Daytona is, pull it in, it runs and moves, or it did, so that I can get the passenger door swapped, the passenger fender swapped over, and maybe get that truck on the road before the snow starts flying. It needs a top desperately, but if it's a convertible, the top's down anyways. So that's about it. I'm overrun with engines. I've got several here, as you know, but they'll sell eventually and they'll move on to new homes. So I appreciate you spending another week with me. Hopefully I got a little more action on this one and didn't bore you to death. And we'll see what this week brings, because you never know what's going to come in or what's going to happen around here. So like, follow, subscribe. Let me know what you think. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Labor Day weekend. Tomorrow's Labor Day. Hope you have another enjoyable day off if you are so gracious enough to have one. Lucky enough to have one. I do. I am off tomorrow as well. But I'll probably still be working. So we'll catch you.